Are you going to buy a model? You're gonna let him get a model.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. What got some windows. But, and I would actually. Pull if they 220 volts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't bother me anymore. I had to clean balls also,
And
many times.
What do you do, they alternated you?
And vinegar.
Ready?
Yeah, find out.
I'll call our meeting to order with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For our roll call, Robert Bay is here, Mike Fritz is here, Grace Wall is here, Allison Lineback Manager Treasurer is here, Derek Rhodes Roadmaster is here, Dave Everett Vice President is here, Steve Geibels Member here. Corey Zana, Mayor, is here. Pamela Stevens is not here today as a borough engineer. Amanda Musso here, Secretary. D. Michael Benetham is here. Warren's here, and Joan, our solicitor, is here. Council minutes. Is there a motion to approve the February 8, 2024 Borough Council meeting minutes? Are there any revisions, corrections, clarifications, or can the minutes be accepted as presented?
Move to accept them as presented.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded to approve them for the February 8th meeting minutes as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Approval of payment of bills. Before you'll see some consolidated payment of bills report as of March 12th. Out of the general fund, you'll see $75,508.58. Out of the sewer fund, $13,293.88. Liquid fuels, $3,619.80. Fire tax fund, $750, and EMS tax fund, $5. Is there any questions or after review of the payment of bills report, or can the payment of bills be accepted for processing as presented?
Pay the bills as presented.
Is there a second? Second. Motion been moved, second to pay bills as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Approval of treasurer's report. So we need so out of our treasury report, our fund balances as of February 29th are general fund $391,805.91. Liquid fuels $246,761.81. Fire tax fund is $272.09. EMS tax fund has $5. Sewer fund is $183,546.14. Reserve account is $127,814.26, and our public works garage grant has $413,675.49. Is there a motion to accept and file for audit the public works grant and consolidated treasury report for February 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded to approve and file for audit both the PW grant and the consolidated treasury report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Public comment, we get anything in from anyone? Then we'll move on. If someone would like to comment at some point via our YouTube channel, then we will interrupt and bring them back in. So did Pamela leave a engineer's report?
Yes,
Okay,
not much is different on it than what was previously presented.
hearing or seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Borough Solicitor's report.
Okay, on February 27th, I had responded to some questions from Mount Penn regarding the joint municipal garage. There have been some questions that were raised by the borough manager in Mount Penn regarding the site of a proposed shared garage, the issue of ownership, the issue of cost sharing, and I gave a detailed response on behalf of the borough. I have not heard back anything since February 27th regarding positions taken in this email.
Anything else?
That's all I have on that. I think there are other items covered elsewhere in the agenda.
Okay. Mayor, anything to report?
I have a little report here. The meeting, police commission meeting was held March 7th. Nothing really to report, nothing significant. But I reviewed the last year's monthly chiefs report. And all in all, looking at it, I wrote some things down. I feel St. Lawrence is a safe place to live. Central Berks Regional Police provides us with good police coverage. The report highlighted basically our top 5 offenses that are happening down here. Number 1 being citations given out. Number 2, warnings. Number 3, accidents. Number 4, disorderly conduct. And number 5 is thefts. All of our numbers always are lower than the rest. So I'm thankful for that. I've noticed that there have been some complaints from residents on Facebook, not an official page, but they were disturbed with the number of accidents that have occurred on St. Lawrence Avenue. I left a message for the chief to see if there was any specific plan of action or anything he wanted to discuss about that. Not sure exactly what we can do. The next police commission meeting will be May 2nd. So at this time, I just want to ask the council, do you have any concerns or questions you would want me to address with the police chief? No, okay, if you do, let me know. Thank you.
Department staff reports?
Can
Oh, go ahead.
we back step?
Sure.
You made mention about social media. And you referenced unofficial. Is there an unofficial?
Someone has a page and I don't think it's you.
We don't sponsor anything.
Right,
No.
someone has a page that's called like St. Lawrence or something. And I never respond. I see it pop up and I read. But that's,
My thoughts are, that's why we have monthly meetings. If you have any point of concern, you may certainly stop by Borough Hall, you
Mhm.
may come here.
fall.
I don't think we should enter into that dark dive,
Mhm.
so to speak.
Okay,
I just want to make sure that nobody took liberty in engaging in anything unofficial as far as representing boroughs.
I don't believe in social media.
It's
that's good.
two horns.
That's good.
Hey, Public Works, what can we report for us?
My public works report is attached. One thing I note in that report is at the end of last meeting, we had discussed privately about looking at getting drone footage going on the Borough Public Land Hill. We had just gotten quotes just to see how much it would cost, and we had received a very favorable quote from a company. So we decided to pull the trigger on that while the leaves are still off the trees to get. Basically, they're gonna lay up topography of the land up there, and they're gonna shoot all the boundaries with the drones. And they should be able to pick up any kind of structures or anything that are posted up in the tree line that would be of interest of the borough. So that was started last Friday. He continued work on that today. Waiting to find out if he is finished, and when he is finished, we'll get that information back from him within a week to 2 weeks. And we can review it then. Another thing in my public works report, on February 20th, we received a NPDS permit, which is a stormwater permit from engineering company representing Metropolitan Edison for the removal of the high tension wires along the hillside
And the towers.
and the towers and all structures. I have reached out to that engineering firm, and at this point, they're still preliminarily planning everything, but at this point, they plan on taking action in 2025 to have all the structures and everything removed out of it.
So those two things combined, we sort of conjured up that maybe it would behoove us to get maybe like a very accurate low aerial photography of all that. Because we may have to go in, they have to submit the NIPD's permits to Berks County Conservation District because of the amount of footage they're gonna disrupt. We would probably wanna look at what they're gonna do to build roads up through there to get all that stuff down. Then do we want them to maybe leave some of those roads that would give us better access up there? Or something like that as a fire trail? Or, and my other thought was we needed a baseline of another Atlantis infiltration if possible. So this way we would have a base of aerial photography before all this work occurred. And then maybe it would help us manage all that a little bit better. So I don't know if anybody else had any ideas or, thinking about it that way or something, so.
Yeah, I doubt if they would do a road from the bottom all the way up towards the Church Lane area. It's extremely rocky, it's extremely steep,
Right.
and it goes from the wires that are basically there now are totally between two towers, one at the top and one down below,
By the creek? Or is there one up
several
high
hundred
above?
yards toward Adams Street from the,
Yeah,
maybe 500 yards from Adams Street. But it's a long continuous run, and then,
so how would
I
they,
don't know.
yeah,
If they would need to run a road just to drop the wires.
Oh,
Well,
no,
they're
they're
taking
taking
the
the tower.
towers
down.
Well, there's two towers.
Yeah.
The one tower at the top, they get from Church Lane.
okay,
The other tower,
they'll get from down here,
they get from down here.
yeah,
We'll probably just coil them,
Yeah,
drop them and coil them.
whatever,
yeah,
yeah.
Guide them through.
so,
I did ask them to present the plans of their, once they're done with the preliminary stuff, what their action would be, so when they're done with their plan, present that to us on what they plan on doing.
And I think we officially would have to notify a Berks Conservation District that we would like to have a meeting with them once the plan gets submitted. Because they essentially sit in for the state and sit in for all local municipalities where we don't have to do anything. They have no inkling what we think or what they know. They do is review it per the regulations. So it might just behoove us so we could get a
yeah, I
better
think
look
that'd
at
be a
it.
very good idea.
That we
Yep.
would, so we should convey to Conservation District, as soon as they get this permit, we're stating, this is our notification, we'd like to have a meeting with Conservation District to discuss, some, just in general, the whole thing, and then we'll see what's going
Be
on.
a party to that discussion.
Yeah. So,
I would have a question about another matter, if we were done with that, but does the borough have any kind of blighted property ordinance or determination process? For like their homeowners that are letting their homes deteriorate to the point that it's impacting their neighbors, is there?
I think that we have to follow the International Building Code, and did we adopt the property code, management code?
We have a property maintenance code, but part of the issue we have with some blighted properties is they're not actually have anybody living in them at the moment. And it is a process to go through and deal with that. Blighted, it depends on whether they're in a foreclosure process or whether the person who was there, which we do have one, passed away and did pass away, was in a coma in a nursing home, still is, never coming home, but won't give up his house. It is not being well maintained, the inside of the house, but it is a standalone structure. So while it doesn't look great, we have processed getting the outside maintained to a certain extent. There's one neighboring property where the person passed away, I think last September or October. And we don't know what the status is. Tax bill did not come back.
There is an option in cases like this, which is the county's blighted property program through the redevelopment authority. I'm the solicitor for that program. And if it's abandoned and vacant and it meets certain conditions of blight, and there's a county ordinance from 2014, I believe, that has 9 conditions of blight. And if it meets at least 3 of those, it can be considered for the county's blighted property program. And that could be a possibility with these properties. If you'd like, if you could give me the addresses, maybe it's something I could pass along to the redevelopment authority to look at. I can't make any promises on it, but it is a good program that it sounds like these properties might be eligible for. There are several properties in Mount Penn that are in that program, and there have been some improvement. It's not just in the city, it is in a number of suburban areas. And
What does that program provide?
what the program provides is a process where at first an opportunity is given to the owner or the owner's power of attorney or executor to fix up the property, to come in for permits, to give a timetable, and to stick to that timetable and fix up the property. The first letter is called first strike letter, to bring it to their attention. If nothing happens after the first strike letter, there is, based on evidence such as delinquent tax bills, citations, photographs of conditions of blight, including structural unsoundness, there would first be a determination of blight. Property owner is notified, property is posted, certified, first-class mail, reasonable attempts to reach the owner or owner's designee. Then the next step is a certification of blight, which is also through a hearing in front of the Blight Property Committee, where affidavits are given by municipal officials, and there is testimony also by officials of the condition of the property, and a decision is made as to whether the property belongs in the program and should be certified as blighted. Once it's certified as blighted, another round of notice is given to the owner. And then if there's no response, then it can be certified over to the County Redevelopment Authority to be ultimately taken by eminent domain, and either contracts entered into to fix it up or sold. There's always the opportunity to sell the property to a buyer who is going to fix it up and take care of it. The use of eminent domain is the last option. It is not the first option. And it's after many due process steps. But it may be worth looking into, either to get the attention of the property owner or the property owner's executor or power of attorney or children, or to move it on a path to getting it fixed up and no longer in a condition of blight. And there are many buyers who look at those blighted property lists and want to buy these properties. They contact the owner and buy the property and have come in with a plan to fix it up and follow through.
Well, and just in the context of removing the blight, does the history of the property speed the process up? I'm referring to the old style bleaching property. Does that in any way, shape, or form meet the criteria?
These are residential properties. Yeah. There may be other programs through the County Industrial Development Authority for commercial properties.
That is the no-ho property then.
That owner
It's
is,
it's certainly a challenged property that's difficult
Yeah.
to
he
market.
has applied for funding
Mhm.
from the flooding, so that is, he is working towards it, but
So Reverend, would you like to see some sort of tally of like identifiable one or anything?
I'm familiar with the city blighted property access. I didn't know if there was anything for us. I was approached by a resident concerned about a neighborhood property that's, going to pieces, and she wants to get a group of neighbors together and come to one of our meetings. But this is an owner occupied dwelling, so it's not an abandoned dwelling, so that would not, if it's occupied and somebody's actually paying utilities and paying
Right,
taxes.
that probably wouldn't qualify if it's occupied and someone's paying utilities. It wouldn't qualify for the blighted property program, most likely. It wouldn't qualify for property conservatorship. That's another avenue, but that's nothing I want the municipality, any municipality to really participate in. That's something for either nonprofits like Habitat for Humanity or the Redevelopment Authority to do. And there's always the option of continuing to cite and lien the property. There are traditional enforcement options. They call it the blight toolbox. That's what I think it's the Housing Alliance puts that out, because it really is. There are any number of potential remedies, but when the property is occupied. It makes it more difficult, but in cases like that, the best thing to do is additional enforcement. Because eventually, if they continue to be cited and they are found guilty on those citations, it's going to get to a point where they have to either sell the property or fix the property.
Yeah, I believe the property he's talking about also is, the front yard is like a maze of Atlantis trees.
And this is kind of, and there may be a possibility that it's unfit for human habitation and can be placarded, depending on the condition of the house, whether it's a house where it's unsanitary, unsafe, there, in some of these cases, there's been hoarding. There are any number, and, again, structural unsoundness, could be grounds for placarding as unsafe for human habitation. And this is more than just, we're not the prettiness police, and it's more than, this is something more than that. This is where the structure is actually unsanitary, dangerous. And
I'm talking about, the roof is compromised. things like
right,
that.
right. And those kind of conditions are dangerous conditions where there's a possibility that the property could be condemned, placarded as unsafe for human habitation. And no individual can live there until it's made safe.
Does the borough have any authority to go and inspect the house under somebody's, to determine whether or not it's safe or not safe?
Well, that would be the notice, the notice of violation or the courtesy letter could be issued to begin the enforcement process for the code official. I mean, you can ask. And if the individual says no, you'd have to get a warrant on probable cause, just like any law enforcement investigation. Because there is such a thing as an administrative search warrant that can be issued by the magisterial district judge.
Not to open up another technical of this, a friend of mine lives on Old Turnpike Road on the way up to the traffic light. I think everybody knows the house I'm talking about. And a few times a year, she says to me, can't something be done about that?
Is it a condition?
It's,
Rats?
look at the section, it's stuff is stacked up against the window.
Well, that's.
The porches are jammed full, it's just.
Okay, well, that's a hoarding
That's a
thing.
hoarding.
That's a hoarding situation. There's one or two in every municipality. And that's genuinely dangerous. And could be, if there's probable cause to believe that it's in there. First of all, it's a code enforcement issue. Second of all, you might want to, there's generally a psychiatric overlay with that. You might want to get some help from service access management. And because that's, I mean, again, that may be a person who's a danger to himself, certainly a danger in one of those houses if a fire starts, it's a hazard to firefighters and to the person who lives there.
So I guess I'm gonna put it in question form.
The front door has been clear for entrance. The last time we looked, the front door itself was accessible. There was stuff all over the porch. Yes,
You can't walk on the porch.
you can get to the front door. At the last time I looked,
Have you ever looked down the side of the house? The side, the back porch is the same. Don't we owe it to the neighbors to?
I think it can be looked into. I think it's something the code official should be looking into. There's been a complaint to a borough official at this point. And that's something the code official should know, numerous complaints. It's something a code official should investigate, can investigate. And reach the conclusion that the code official sees fit as to whether the property owner should be cited or whether the property should be placarded. Because unsanitary conditions, if they get to a certain level, can be grounds for declaring the property unsafe for human habitation. It can also be grounds for citing the owner.
Are these two different structures? The one with the bow roof, is this the same one as the possible
No.
accumulation of stuff? No, two different things.
now that it's conversation, I just don't understand why
It's not.
steps have not been taken over the years to remedy this problem. It is, I could not be that person. Absolutely not.
Well, I think that maybe, in this discussion, I think it can be done within this discussion, and the agenda items we have. That we, need a motion for, if the council wants to, for, the code official, to investigate the,
Yeah, I don't know the neighbor, I know somebody who lives a couple doors down. And I would like to file a formal complaint myself on behalf of that individual. And make a motion that we direct the code official to
upon,
remedy this problem.
upon complaint received. I mean, you've seen, I mean, you said you've seen the report, you've seen.
I've stopped out front when it goes out, just as, this is,
Right, so you have seen enough to make a formal complaint, so it's not just for information received. So you,
has anybody in the room not seen it?
Does the resolution have to say like a structure within the 3,500 block or something? Do we have to like narrow it down?
That's right, you can make the motion upon complaint received regarding the structure on the 3,500 block of Old Turnpike Road. Code official is authorized to, is requested to make an investigation, something along those lines.
3,300.
3,300 block.
3,300 block.
Is there said motion?
Yes.
Second.
Motion been moved second to have code official investigate a property in the 3,300 block of St. Lawrence Avenue.
Only company.
Only Turnpike Road, sorry, based on a complaint received.
Now.
Yeah, sure. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I think it might be the 20 block, or so the other one was talking about this 36.
On Old Turnpike.
This 20.
So for clarification, our motion is for the 2,900 block. Bollinger. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. So that was essentially our borough zoning local code enforcement officers report embedded in there somewhere. And under public safety, anything by EMC Dave Eggert.
Yep, we need to approve an ongoing declaration of disaster emergency caused by the rain event 9 July 2023 for another 30 days due to pending funding.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion been moved seconded to approve an ongoing declaration of disaster emergency caused by the rain event on July 9th, 2023. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Public Works, you have anything else? You're good?
That was it for my.
Sounds good. Ad hoc Public Works Garage Committee, Mike Fritz or Warren. Any news or any meetings or anything?
I guess I kind of gave the update, I mean,
Yeah,
as I said,
yeah.
on the 27th, I sent a detailed statement of our position, which Warren, you had commented on. I think Mike, you and I spoke and
Yes.
commented on, and I sent it to the borough manager at Mount Penn and the solicitor at Mount Penn, have not heard back since. Now, Mount Penn has been rather occupied with a couple of other issues. But, we'll see if if a response comes in.
I did talk to Warren briefly last night, just to see if he had heard anything. And I made a remark to him, I don't know if this is fair, I'm gonna stand by this. Is there any reason we should not put a timestamp on this? As far as we need 60 days. This needs to be finalized in 60 days.
There's absolutely no reason why not.
I think to be fair to our money in hand, our plan B or C, whichever one we're on, I think we need to maybe motivate. Yeah, they got something else going on, but business is business, and
And actually, that just ended last night, anyway, so, yeah, so it's fun.
so you may respond tomorrow, for all we know. But at this point,
You want to extend that or have a deadline up to like, what's our meeting in May? Like
I mean, what does council think? I think we have to.
so it's either like in April, what, is that enough or too little, or do you want to extend till May? For official response?
I'd say May.
whatever, you know,
Then,
Yeah, May.
May 9th?
Yeah,
I mean, because we have not had an official response since last meeting. That's, you know, I certainly want.
Well, technically, that's probably Joe now reaching out again in another communication saying, hey, discuss with council, we have not received any response. Council is requesting some sort of response by the state because other action is gonna be taken.
yeah.
Does that sound reasonable?
Do we include, okay, if there is no action, what is our plan? If we don't hear from you, we plan to do.
Well, when I said 60 days, I was referring to that if there's a deal to be done here, it needs to be done in 60 days.
Also, it's not just a response, it's a completed,
No, I'm looking,
30-day would then be, next meeting is the response because you
I'm
have to
looking-
move on.
I'm looking at May to have, I don't care if it's a verbal that Joan is satisfied with, that we have all the details ironed out, but I think we need to put a jump in somebody's step here and get this thing moving.
Yeah, that's fine.
We've had enough discussions amongst ourselves. I think we're all on the same page and balls in their court.
Yeah, the ball's been in their court since February
Yeah.
27th. I mean, we sent out a very detailed statement of our council's position.
so are we actually wording this so that we expect some communication back and forth because we're sort of looking to have some sort of draft agreement for review in May? I mean, by, by April? By April for final resolution in May? Finalization in May? I mean, should we be that blunt in the correspondence?
Honestly, these are not expanded points for litigation. It's a yes or no, what it comes down to. I think the only thing that would have a little bit of wiggle room was the amount of time on the property lease. If for whatever reason they can't legally do a 99, we would be open to something else, but we don't know what that something else is. I think that would be the only item that would require some back and forth. We've kind of put our line in the sand.
But I mean, that's what the concept is, hey, we're expecting some sort of communication that sort of answers this or moves us forward
That's right.
in April, so
Yes.
we can have some final plan to move on in May or vote on in May. Is that what everybody's thinking?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah,
They'll give us a
okay, whatever.
response to the month.
Yeah.
I
Is that
think
two
a
separate
lot can happen
responses,
in a
one
month.
for the month?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this, yeah, I think this was the Mount Penn response, right?
We're waiting for response from Mount Penn, yeah.
What about?
What about AMA?
That's the lease.
I mean, as far as AIMA goes, I really have not gotten a positive response from AIMA. I mean, yeah.
And that's the response.
And well, again, as we
But I-
discussed,
Yeah, but I am awaiting confirmation that I have a call from AIMA.
So from a realistic point of view, we're sort of like thinking that's directions, we're no longer facing that direction. This is why we need the answers from Mount Penn, correct? I mean, that's sort of the.
Unless they all of a sudden.
Yeah, unless they suddenly magically appear with an access agreement.
I was actually referring
Agreement,
to
that
AIM
release
because
agreement.
if it doesn't pass the AIM test, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was referring to AIM.
If there's a way, if there's some legal reason, they can only go 20 years or something. But there's something in there that says we're guaranteed, future leases.
An auto renewal or something.
Automatic renewal was.
Guaranteed,
At no increase in cost?
well, yeah, right.
Well, I'm just asking, yeah. So Mike, your whole thing was for AVA.
Yeah, because if it doesn't pass the
Well-
AIM test, nothing's gonna happen on that property.
Then do we also want a separate letter over to Mount Penn because we basically proffered a location, move a location, and they get said no. So do we want a second letter to Mount Penn, say same thing, we need to hear your thoughts or alternate location by, April?
I think
Or
I should,
because we're planning on reviewing things and making decisions in May.
I think we shake both trees.
All right.
That's fine.
Sorry, Eric.
Outstanding. Anything from the library?
I sent Amanda a blurb for the newsletter, not hopeful, but, hopefully we can find somebody to be the next liaison.
Municipal lands, we sort of talked about some things going on.
Yeah,
Is there anything else?
just a few things that Van Potiger brought up. And it's more with the right of way of Jacksonville Avenue going through there. We had the problem where trees came down, took out the power line, took down a couple of telephone poles, utility poles. They came in, put new poles up. The old poles are still laying there, cut up in pieces, are not been removed. Is there anything we can do to try to get that taken care of?
I actually have a line in that because I've been fighting with them for the past 2 years over these issues. They leave messes behind at every place they touched.
Yeah.
So I do have a very urgent, like, you have to get that out of there. Because they also, not only did they leave the pole behind, but left the mess behind.
Yeah,
So our
right.
access for Land Street, you know, they rutted the road out, or they rutted the area out for our
Yeah.
head wall access.
Yeah.
And I called them and saying they left the pole behind. Originally, the lady said that they took care of it, it was removed.
But it was cut off.
It's still there.
Yeah, right. I talked to Van today and he
Yeah,
told me it was still there.
They internally have very bad communication skills. That they tell the office one thing, I get told one thing, and then it's just.
We could photograph it and send it
Well, I
to
did,
her.
I sent the email to her and I said, here's the pole,
Yeah.
it's still here.
Yeah. One other thing that Van pointed at the head wall there, he said there's like a hole that's formed near the head wall, like a sinkhole or something that with the heavy water, it's earth is going,
Yeah, that flood, that water was coming over that head wall.
and I haven't had a chance to go and look at it, but he said there's a hole and somebody's walking around there, just step in and,
I'll take a look.
So are you hoping that we communicate with Med Ed like once a week for the next 4 weeks?
We are-
So we have something back to report at the next meeting, and that's all our action items?
How often do you
I will call them every,
Darren, do you have an email for that contact also?
I can get that to you.
I think it's possible.
If you email them also and copy the PUC on that.
Yeah, I've never read them too. I've actually, this is a separate thing. I had put an informal complaint into the PUC because they do a new pole and they'll leave an old pole behind. A lot of it
Right.
was, if you guys remember, for like 2 years straight, there were 2 sheared poles on both Yankton Street and Adams Street where they just left behind. They were roped, duct taped. And instead of Med removing the pole safely, they left that behind because they claim they can't touch communication wires to remove them off the old pole. So anyway, they put out what they call a notification to the communication companies to come and remove their services off those poles, and they don't do it because their service hasn't been interrupted and they're in no rush to do it. In the meantime, the pole gets left behind.
Sure.
One on Jacksonville Avenue actually fell over. It was left behind for so long that the base rotted out. And a lot of times these poles are being replaced because they're considered out of service. So they're replaced for a new pole. Well, Med Ed doesn't have a very good tracking system of what poles get left behind, and which ones are getting moved by utility companies or them. And so I had filed an informal complaint for PUC about them leaving behind so many of them and not taking care of them in a timely manner. Which they said the informal complaint exhausted all of what they could do. They said to move it up to a formal complaint, which would end up in hearings.
Are they required to restore Levant Street up by that wall?
I've requested them to do it. They're supposed to restore, you know, anything that they disrupt back to how it was before. Which they promised me they would. They also told me the pole was gone, so I'll see how this works out.
They're on their back there. I think they dug those holes by hand.
I wouldn't be surprised by it.
Yeah, even Van Potiger tried to get somebody to come up who chips wood. And the guy says, I can't do that because I can't get rid of that wood. It's been treated.
Yeah,
So
Is it just the creosote or is it the arsenic, the CCA?
I don't
Chromium,
know. I don't.
Chromium, chromate
Yeah,
arsenic or
yeah,
something, CCA.
it probably is, because I don't think it doesn't look creosote telephone
Yeah.
poles. They've been.
Doesn't that chromium have that shiny kind of?
Has like a green tint to it. The longer it's out in the light, is
it's
that,
getting headache every time I call them. It's like, up on the St. Lawrence Avenue, the pole got sheared, they took the pole out, and there's the guy wires that go up and hook to the pole to keep it from leaning in the street. Well, they just left it thrown across the lawn up there. And I sent a picture and I said, why is it I have to even ask this? Why can't you clean up the mess that gets left behind? They're already there replacing the pole, just take it with you.
That's a different curve.
Those guys on Jack, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah,
we'll move on, recreation, Easter egg hunt, are we ready to go?
Ready, Strike Hunt, we're ready to go. That'll be Friday, March 29th, the egg hunt will kick off at 0900 sharp.
Planning Commission, we have no report, zoning, no report, general comments from anyone? Public meetings announcements, all public meetings at St. Lawrence Borough Hall, office closes on March 29th, 23rd. We did have, I mentioned the last time to, look at, getting emails, getting official emails.
Yeah.
So here's what we have. You get a bare bones email where it'll be under like stlawrenceborough.org or .net or .com. And it's about $13 a month. Okay, then they have a per email. So then there's a advanced email security type you can get for approximately $18 a month. And then you can get a archiving one with advanced email security for like $20 a month per email.
That's per person.
I don't mean,
Okay, so that the next question was, if someone wants them, we certainly can get them, but that's the cost.
I think we do one, we do all.
No, I don't want one. I got too many emails now. I don't want another email I have to look at. Plus, if we get these emails, they're always gonna be open to.
Yes, but
That's why they are.
the problem is that if you don't have them, then your emails, all of your emails could be open to
Public.
open records to look, to
I'll-
look for response.
I'll just take the bit bleach and the hammer. I'm not worried about that. So. Well, Trevor, you want an email?
well, I
Comments?
agree with Mike, if you were talking about email addresses, so I
Yeah.
think if we do it, it should be for the entire council.
You're suggesting we spend $20 a month per person.
I'm suggesting if
No, I'd
we
say
do it,
20.
we do it for the entire
Oh,
council,
13.
not, he wants it, he doesn't.
Oh. Well, I'm okay being with that scrutiny. I just don't care. My email's out on the newsletter anyway, so I really don't, that's how I look at it. I rarely get something, so.
Well, yeah, the only issue is Joe mentioned, if somebody wants, and
I'll be in jail.
if we have corresponded with you at your company email address.
Yeah,
All of that now can be opened up and looked at and.
I'll let my legal department worry about that, because I rarely do that. So anyway,
Yeah, look for those communications.
Yeah, right.
Someday,
So,
right, it just-
subpoenaed in litigation, it could be the subject of an open records request. So I mean, that's.
Greg, did you want an email?
I don't want it, but I agree that we probably should have it, and I agree we all.
You guys all want it immediately? Because it's just not a budgeted item. And it's 15, 12 or whatever times 8 is what? Per month, and where's that gonna come from? Or is it something put in the budget for next year, or no, we need it now and
Well,
we'll
we
figure
already
that out.
have an address, right? I mean,
Yes,
like Allison gets her email. Are we paying $20 a month for Allison's email address?
I think we get that through the website and everything else.
It is part of what is going on with the manager. It's having those websites and having the email on it. I could give all of you your own email as aliases through my email, because I can have 500 aliases. The problem is, all those emails would come through my email.
Yeah,
Which, because I have archiving on my stuff with the number of emails that I get.
So with that website, we only get the one email?
We pay for my email, we pay for Amanda's email, we do not have our own, we used to. But the maintenance of that website was just beyond what I have time for.
Sure.
I barely have time to do the GoDaddy stuff and keeping that up to date. We do not get emails with those websites, so it is getting an email, basically, it's, I can't even think of Microsoft.
If you have a Microsoft 365 now,
And this does not go to the point where you get the 365, that's a whole different set, and there's no archiving with that, but you then get the 365 Office with it. and you would have to get archiving on top of it. I went to the simplest solution that we could do that had archiving. And then archiving and email security. So it really is up to,
Is there a motion?
Do you back up to a cloud or do you back up to a physical drive here? In terms of.
both.
Almost everything's all cloud now, though.
I archive to PDF and keep them all stored. Those PDFs get archived offsite as well.
Because it's 2024. I think there's nothing wrong with having a certain amount of continuity and communication. Yeah, Bob said, yeah, it's not a budget item, but in the past, we've.
Well, we can't take liquid fuels and pay for it, I'll say that.
But a number of things have come through this room over the past few years that we adopted that weren't in the budget. And I don't know. I think it's need-based, and I think it should be council-wide, that's.
You want some more investigation, like to try to see what it would be for Office 365, you know, and something like that, or, you know?
Yeah, waiting another
That's what
month
we
is
use
gonna
for.
bother me.
That's what-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if anybody else knows something internally,
Yeah.
you know, you find something, say, hey,
And
what about this?
what are municipalities around here use? What are they paying?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
A lot of them have professionally done websites by others, so they're paying for that website, and then they're paying for the monthly management of that website, and that somebody who does web stuff for a living, yeah, I don't. I do,
You
but.
wanna go down that route, and if that would be as economical than 8 separate, you know, emails?
And like, I don't pay anything for my Google
Right.
or my
Your
Gmail account. I mean, could we each have,
You would each get your own Gmail account.
St. Lawrence, right,
You get,
special,
Warren at stlawrence.gmail.com.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It's totally
Yeah.
fake.
Would that be,
well, it's
Would
the
that meet
email,
the intent?
it's the @bennett.com is what, to get, that's, Gmail is free.
Yeah, we can just all make a Gmail account.
It's,
and then from now on, we just communicate with all our communications, what we put in a newsletter for how to get in touch with us?
Yeah.
Is that,
yeah,
Yep.
I mean, if you can, you know, if you can do that, yes, I think that would be, I mean, if you have a dedicated email account, dedicated email address for official communications would be best. I don't think there's anything that says it has to be official and set up a certain way. It should be secure, you know, secure, as secure as email is, but,
Do we have to have a user's agreement amongst everyone who gets the email address about not deleting things and stuff like that? Because of Freedom of Information Act requests? I mean, do we have to have a policy? We're all gonna use this email, everybody agrees. You know, nothing gets deleted.
right, or kept for a certain amount of
Yeah,
time.
kept for 3 years or something like that.
The problem with that is, because I have a personal Gmail account. And it seems to run out of storage space. Now, I get a lot of junk emails that I don't delete, and I have to delete them periodically. So you're gonna get junk emails to those accounts, so I think you need to be careful not to use it for anything where it could be sold as part of a list, because that's, or to buy any product or anything like that, because it will end up on a list and you get all sorts of junk emails. A lot of them.
well, all the promotions, if you get promotions, you ought to be able to delete promotions.
Yeah.
That's something.
No
I'm
official,
just
no
saying-
official correspondence to be deleted.
I'm just saying, we probably need to have something where everybody signs their name, that they agree this is how they're gonna manage the account.
Mhm.
Because at some point in the future, there's some sort of request for information and they want all the emails. and it's not being done correctly, we have someone's signature that said, I knew I was supposed to be doing this and I didn't.
We've already been asked for everybody's emails by,
That's where we're at now.
by the county
That's what we're
plan.
trying to avoid.
County
Yeah.
Planning Commission has asked for everybody's
Right, I mean,
emails.
we didn't have an email policy. You could have an email policy.
Okay, that's a great question. So then the county, Berks County Planning wants the email address. Are we gonna give it to them? I say no, I don't know what's on their end, what they're doing with that email. I don't know if they're selling data somewhere. I'm gonna get more junk email. So how do you wanna manage it?
Well, at that point, I think, just giving the official borough email, and if it's anything that needs to be distributed.
But they answer every council
Well,
person.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
well, but,
But if we each have our own St. Lawrence email,
It's not officially, it's
Right,
not
I
an
mean,
official borough email.
it would like be something like warrenstlb@gmail.com. something
Right.
like that.
That's not an official borough email.
It's
Yeah,
not
but
a-
all of our business.
Dedicated, but it's not an official.
Well, I don't think it needs to be official, I think it
Yeah.
needs to be dedicated email.
what I was saying was, if we get requests from like the county planning commission.
Right.
The only email we give them is the borough email, and if it's anything that needs to be distributed to council as part of, any council business,
You mean
it can be disseminated by Alice.
Allison's
Right,
dedicated
Right.
borough email. Right.
So I'm,
No,
yeah,
it's saying, well,
I'm just trying to understand how we wanna manage it.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say that would be the appropriate thing to
Yeah.
do, so we're not getting,
right,
Agreed.
we're
like
not
that's,
I think it's a compromise.
an economical compromise.
Yeah, sure.
So do you want the borough manager to set that up for the next meeting where we set all that up?
Sure.
Cause she'll have to be like an alias to set it up and then hand it over to you.
And that's just a directive, it's not.
Right.
not a motion.
Right,
So you just get the basic password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
yeah.
Capital one.
All right. Office is closed on March 29th and April 23rd. We need to go into executive.
No.
Oh,
that was only if we needed to.
about the grant, so we don't need executive session. All business, a motion to authorize a council president to sign resolution 892-2024, the UCC Appeals Board intergovernmental agreement with the county of Berks. I have no idea what that is.
It's in your borough email.
The county appeals board or building code questions, there's an appeal from the code.
If there's appeal to that goes to the board, to the county has one for every municipality. Because every municipality is supposed to have an appeals board. This way we're ceding that off to the county.
Yes, we're paying them
Yeah.
annual fee and being a member.
Much better to use that because there are certain, very specific qualifications that these boards have to have.
Do we know who's on that board?
I don't know who's on the
Do we
board.
care?
Well, I care because I actually sit on a advisory board for UCC codes. And there's some very adamant people on those codes. I'll just say that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to authorize the council president to sign resolution 892-2024. So we're gonna use the UCC Appeals Board intergovernment agreement with County of Berks. New business. Is there an?
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yeah, oh, go to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? New business. Motion is there to sign the polling place agreement with the County of Berks.
So moved.
Second.
Point of clarification, we don't have a choice under Pennsylvania law.
No, we don't.
If you're a municipal building, you must make it available as a polling place. We do not have a choice.
You
So-
have the items that you need under the county agreement to serve as a polling place. Allison will send in a certificate of insurance that's required. I've reviewed this agreement for other municipalities. It contains the required indemnifications. So I would advise you to sign up.
So is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion moved seconded to sign the polling place agreement with the County of Berks. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Motion passes. Final motion and sign resolution to reappoint Joseph Rabbert to the Planning Commission for a 5-year term ending in April 2029.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 891-2024, appointing Joseph Roberts Planning Commission, 5-year term ending April 2029.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
No.
Oh, morning clerk, please.
One more new item, just,
Does that have to do with emails?
no, nothing to do with emails. Yeah, we have a new secretary, Amanda, and when I called Allison about, like the newsletter, she's busy. She's got a lot of stuff in her. Yes. Amanda has time. Are there things that we can move to Amanda?
They're
with her?
gonna be, especially with Tracer. She's gearing up once we get.
Yeah.
Once we get Tracer a little bit more refined, which
Yeah.
Berks in communication with them, she's gonna have more work than she can deal with.
Okay.
I brought that topic up about 2 weeks ago, and I said, I don't see the reason why she's not the new editor of the newsletter.
Right.
Well,
And that's why I'm glad
That's what I was.
Other than, I don't think she's ever used Publisher to do it.
It's a Microsoft product, it can't be that hard, just like Word.
Marshall will be making emails.
So good thinking, but I think that is part of the game.
Okay,
Oh,
just
yes.
wanted to make sure. that
Oh,
was-
yeah, oh, yeah.
Was going, and, because,
It just, there
you
hasn't been.
know
a
that you're
whole-
always got your hands in so many fires and so much stuff going on. And
It's been
whatever
rough.
Amanda could do to help you,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think she's very capable of.
oh, she is. It's not a problem. It's gonna be flying her way deeper than.
Any other things?
That's how they get you to do things. They give you the vote of confidence. Then they give you stuff to do.
This is really an opportunity.
You've been voluntold. Before we.
Oh, go ahead.
We kind of got by something and I didn't hear it, but some time ago, Mr. Benetton was looking for, somebody else to take on the library.
Yeah.
Have you found someone?
I just mentioned at the library report that I gave a blurb to Amanda to put in the next newsletter to see if you can find someone. If you have a volunteer.
For you, I would do that, just to take that responsibility. I know you're.
Do you wanna wait to see if someone out of the public wants to be on there?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I want to say something last month, again, it just kind of
Yeah,
went through the agenda and that was it. And looking back on it.
yeah, I, between the two of us, we have.
Like
It's like
20 years, library board.
Look, I still have bad blood because we never got our state last week.
You and I need to talk one-to-one, and
All right.
I'll find about that, but I took over for Warren in 2009 and did it for a few years, then when my job responsibilities changed, he took it back. In 2020, I took it back from him, so for at least the last 16 years, maybe more, it's been a tag team. It'd be nice to have a third player.
All for the love of books.
Well, I can tell you, my wife spends 2 days a week there with our grandkids.
Yeah.
So
You guys.
It's a community center.
and I've been there a few times. Last time I was in the library, I was a lot younger. So they run a very good program there from what I can tell, especially for the kids, there's story time, stuff like that. So that's what kind of gave me the idea.
My wife used to do the story
Yeah.
time.
So does this appointment include this little red library here on the side of the
No,
building?
no, that's privately.
But yeah.
It's independent.
And speaking of little things on the side of the building. Are we gonna have a memorial service for the sign out front the next couple of days when the signs they keel over?
We're hoping it does. We're waiting for somebody to hit it. We were gonna put a reflector tape on it and hope that.
Just go out there and give it up.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
if it was that easy, it can go on.
Yeah.
Can we just get a sign and I'll install the darn thing?
Well, I think
Come on.
some of the problem is it's clear sight triangle issue.
It never should have been put in and it was a wrong sign to begin with.
Hanging on the building.
Well.
Nobody can see it when they drive by,
Yeah.
unless they're,
We-
or they're either
I'll
on
put
the
a sign
road.
with a sign, there's
Yeah.
signs up there.
Yeah, yeah, also.
We want to renovate this building, so I think that we should probably have some kind of idea of how we're gonna renovate this building before we decide where we're gonna plop this off.
Right.
It's not in the budget. Email addresses first.
We have money to spend out, that's fine.
With clear sight triangles and stuff,
Does that sign light up anymore?
It does, if
Yeah.
you, would you like me to turn on?
No,
no.
Can we temporarily support it so nothing happens to it? Say some little kids wait for the school bus and,
they don't stand.
They don't
there.
stand there.
okay. So it never happens that way, right? Would you like me to temporarily support it so it doesn't fall?
Derek, have I not told you that it's a number one priority to get that
It's
removed?
tough for me.
You also buy it? You gotta get pretty far up there, to see up far enough
Yeah.
to make a safe turn.
Yeah.
And
No, you don't need a one insurance to get there, he just won it
The other day
over.
when I came home, I was driving Susan's car.
Yeah.
Cause in the Jeep, I don't have much of a problem. In Susan's car, yeah, that's bad.
yeah,
And you know,
We have their address
So-
on the building.
I don't know what we do
I
about
was
that.
instructed you to deal with outside TVs, they have those yet?
Outside TVs?
I think I've actually asked once a year to put in the budget to put a new sign, and it's never seemed to get there,
Email addresses first.
so.
We don't allow it outside.
What do you want outside TV for?
Oh, as a sign.
Digital sign.
An animated sign. An
Yeah.
animated.
No.
Could you buy a screen that's weather rated, is what we're really saying?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can, I've already looked into it.
Big Cumberland Township has one. Over there, so,
You
Have to jump
can't.
over.
He asked for
Where are you
interpretation, I
gonna
brought
put
up to.
right there.
You can't put it right there because right there is in the side triangle
Not
where
if
it
it's
should.
shorter.
Oh,
Why do we gotta do it small?
Yeah, why does that have to be real tall?
Above.
Look at that place down here on 662 at the church. Do you ever see their sign?
Yeah.
It's very low profile. It's very visible. It's right on the north side of Old Turnpike Road.
What if you put
But
one
you couldn't.
that same size right there, but have a camera on it? So that basically you're looking through the sign.
Huh?
All right, all right.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion approved, second, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion passed. Thanks for your time.
I think that would work. I think that question's
That did not land.
Positive already, huh?
Can
Can we just put up a 4x8 plywood with some hand lettering?
Budget cuts, this is our new sign.
I'm saying, well, prayer.
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah.